Let's go! Headphone users wrecked! What's going on, my friends? Finally, fix the microphone without having to restart everything, restart the computer, restart my life. This isn't happening this week, my friends. We're too freaking bullish for things to be happening this way. Let's go. All right. If you ain't awake now, your ass is awake. Let's go. Headphone users wrecked. Welcome back to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So we actually accomplished a new achievement, and we have gotten over 250,000 views total on our channel. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I know it might not seem like a lot to some, with the big channels out there, but that is a pretty cool milestone, I will say so myself. And I want to give a shout out to everyone who's been watching on a regular basis, helping just build this community, build this channel, build the Dojo crew. You guys are part of something. Do you know that you're part of the Dojo crew? When you come to this live stream, you are a member of the Dojo crew. And so we just want to recognize you guys. We want to give you credit. We want to acknowledge and show our appreciation for the people that tune into this channel on a daily basis. Now, we had a pretty interesting week in crypto and also weekend. We had the SEC. We had the SEC talk about Project Crypto, which is basically Paul Atkins laying out the framework for America being the leader in the digital finance revolution. So we're going to kind of analyze this a little bit. We're going to pick through it. We're also going to pick through what the White House released as their American leadership in digital finance technology, which is basically outline all of the things that our administration has been just putting in line for the legislation for crypto and how this is going to affect the next 5-10 years of finance when it comes to all of the ETFs, the treasuries, the companies that are investing in crypto, the companies that are wanting to use these stable coins, and also different institutions that are wanting to mint their own stable coins, and what chains are going to be used and how they can do it, what's legal, what's not, what the rules are, all that stuff. And so now the government is fully in. Now, this is what's interesting is that we wanted institutional adoption, we wanted mainstream adoption, but we thought we were going to get mainstream adoption first before we actually got the big boys, the governments playing ball. But now we actually have governments being fully locked in, fully long crypto, and retail is nowhere to be found. So this is what's really interesting about the nature of the cryptocurrency markets right now is that we're in technically we're in the most bullish point of the markets that we've ever seen. And retail's nowhere to be found. Retail's nowhere to be found while we are having some of the most bullish sentiment and regulatory framework and just framework in general for crypto. So this is just fascinating to me. So, and you can even see it by the trends of Google. Over the past 5 years, we've just had we had those big spikes and I have Dogecoin and Pepe and Bitcoin as the metric for retail adoption and retail attention, mainstream attention. And the last time we had those spikes, we had that 2021 November spike right there. We had a little spike during the FTX, pre-FTX. Then we had our spike that was the Trump pump. Now, since the Trump pump, we haven't seen very many spikes in interest. It's kind of just been trending down. It's been just trending down in terms of mainstream worldwide adoption for crypto. Now, I think that we actually still have, technically in this particular run, we have 60 days left. 60 days left. But we probably have a little bit more than that. But if we're just going to go off of the last cycle's metrics of where Bitcoin topped out, it was 520 days after the halving. So if we look at the Bitcoin chart right now, and stay with me, guys. If I'm losing you already right now, you're not going to make it because your attention span is way too small, way too short, and you're never going to make it if you're just always looking at the macro and can't pay attention to anything for more than 2 minutes. That's a fact. The people that make the most money and actually retire their bloodlines have patience, they compound, and they know how to listen. So this is what you guys need to be doing right now, because this is what I have to do in my life as well, is to be more patient, to listen, to figure out how I can have longevity, not short-term gratification, not short-term gratification and euphoria. We're playing the long game, my friends. And so how do we get macro? Well, we look at what Bitcoin did in previous markets, in previous cycles. We showed you before. Laser said, I have the attention span of a goldfish. No, most people in crypto do have an attention span of a goldfish. That is why they're unable to do the type of compounding that some people in crypto are able to do. Like the people that were able to really compound are the Bitcoin maxis, the SHIB whales, the Dogecoin whales, those people that really understood that Pepe was like the freaking signal for memes. People that accumulated and actually just had like delusional conviction were the ones that were able to basically outperform everyone, any of the traders, people that were pivoting and just moving from one thing to the next, or thinking this, moving from narrative to narrative. And all you had to do, if you knew about this stuff early on, even during COVID times, you would be massively up just by being a delusional compounder. Like just saying, look, if I just can just get money in the market and chill and accumulate. The people that did that with Bitcoin and even with Dogecoin at points, they're retired. They have freedom money. They have that FU money, not the 100 grand. Oh, I made 200. No, 200 grand. You know how quickly 200 grand can be spent and go away. Like, it's crazy. So now you have to think about it. You got to be compounding your gains. So you have to figure out a way to play the long game. Okay, so speaking of the long game, and I get it, like Bitcoin in terms of the past couple of years, if you go back and just 2022, 2023, I mean, the thing was at $16,000. The thing was at $16,000. So I get it. I know that I could see how people could think that this is the end of the bull run. Like, this is it. Like, this is the end. But you also have to look at the nature of where we're at in the market and the money that's flowing in here. There's really not very many places where big money and liquidity can go to get a better return than what treasuries are going to, T-bills or bonds and gold, even going into the S&P. If you're going to outperform inflation in all of these things, what is the asset class that has been outperforming everything? It's been Bitcoin and kind of cryptocurrency in general. The altcoins, you'd say, is a different story. The altcoins have been basically bleeding into Bitcoin, but now I think because of the nature of what we're seeing in terms of the ETF kind of stuff going around, we got Bitcoin, and if you saw what was happening with Bitcoin's inflows over the past year and a half, this is why Bitcoin got to where it was. Now, you start to see the nature of Ethereum and how the ETFs started to cook they started to flow in. Almost the similar volume, specifically BlackRock, they're really flowing in to get more Ethereum exposure. Now we have I explained this in a video that I released this morning on my morning walk, that now Solana is on this list. So the altcoins, in terms of institutional adoption and getting big liquidity and money in here, I think the altcoins are still a good play. Now, not every altcoin is going to go up 10x, 15x. I mean, some of them will go 2, 3, some will go 5, 10. I mean, we might even have some of these blue chips even surprise all of us. And one of them, I think, being the Polygon ecosystem, the AVAX ecosystem. I think even like things like Litecoin, people forget about Litecoin as a altcoin metric because we've used Litecoin as an oscillating metric, an indicator for when we are bullish altcoins and risk is just on into altcoins. It takes a little bit. We have to have the rotation where Bitcoin is still going to kind of dominate, but then the money has to flow. It goes into Ethereum. Then Ethereum is the signal, pushes alts and risk on into altcoins. Then we get the mid to low caps. It's kind of this is how the market kind of works. And if you remember from the last cycles, that's exactly what happened. We had Bitcoin, boom. And then we had and then 2021 was also really interesting too, because we had DeFi summer, we had like a lot of new altcoin exposure, we had the DEXs, and then the NFTs were going off. So it was just kind of like a combination of things that led to some of these projects going up like crazy. One of the narratives that went up, I think the most that people forget, is the crypto gaming coins, the metaverse tokens, and some of these things didn't even have any product at all. And it was just like, hey, here's our roadmap. Here's the thing. Here's the token. Here you go. And then some of those went up into the billions. Craziness. So this is kind of what happens. Alex Becker breaks it down pretty good. He says, Bitcoin runs. Then ETH surpasses all-time high, which is in its progress. It's in the process of getting into the all-time highs. How does it do it? It does it by the means of the ETF, like we're explaining. It's not mainstream coming in to buy Ethereum, although I got my wife buying ETH. Anytime she asks, what should I buy? I'm like, just buy ETH. Just keep DCAing ETH. Be my ETH DCAer. Like, your trust wallet needs to just bullish ETH, okay? Because I'm going to need you to send me some of that ETH whenever the gas fees are like, $200 whenever I need to sell some ticker Bitcoin. So, wife, please be my gas station. So look, speculation after that all-time high of ETH, the speculation rolls into the top 25. So we talk about Litecoin, XRP, Cardano, AVAX, Tron, go down the list. I mean, you got all your blue chips, your fundamental things. I got logged out, but yeah, let's go to just like the top 25. I mean, you're looking at Stellar Lumens. Lumens, actually, if you go back, I bet Stellar Lumens was probably one of the first cryptos you ever bought. And to think that you could still be bullish on Stellar Lumens, And there are coins that are connected to each other whenever they pump. It's really interesting. Like, someone made this point, and I remember I was like, yeah, that's totally true. When XRP pumps, Stellar Lumens and things that are as old as what XRP is, they start to pump as well. Like a lot of the old, like you got like Litecoin will start to pump. You'll get Monero. So, and then we could get into a whole video and conversation about Monero and kind of the theory that I've gained from other people's perceptions about privacy and where the money might flow when Bitcoin kind of hits that peak, institutional adoption, and Bitcoin's at $1 million per coin. I think a lot of people are going to start to think and go to things like Monero or Litecoin as a alternative for either privacy, but not Litecoin for privacy, but Monero for privacy, and then Litecoin for payments and actual, another rail. If Bitcoin ends up getting a little bit too, it gets traffic. Look what happened with the ordinals. Look what happened with Bitcoin and the controversy that ordinals and inscriptions did with the Bitcoin network. For the first time ever, the Bitcoin network was congested, and the fees for Bitcoin were at the highest they had ever been, where the fees were like paying Ethereum gas fees, where the fees were like $25 to $50 to $60. I think it even went up even more, if you guys remember, during the inscription phase, where ordinals and all the basically Bitcoin memes and NFTs, the network was congested. So what's going to happen whenever Bitcoin and also Ethereum get congested? That's, I think, where the rotation comes in. So people will still consider these the blue chips. They'll accumulate it. They'll go through their cycles. They're going to have its fluctuations, and people will kind of consider some of these to be the main holds into the next cycle, because you want to figure out what are the things that you want to hold into the next cycle. Crypto is multi-cycle. It's not, we now know that if you were to have been holding Bitcoin perpetually through each cycle and have it be primarily the base of your portfolio would be healthy and would not be going like this all, altcoins, you're like having multiple heart attacks, all the time. So we're also going to get into this today and remind you guys that you do have to have a base of your portfolio in strong blue chips. You have to have a portion of your portfolio in the altcoins to get the risk and exposure so you don't get sidelined. But you have to have a healthy balance and figure out what your edge is in figuring out how you're going to allocate your portfolio. Because at the end of the day, it all is a risk. You're not guaranteed, because you're not guaranteed to win. Everyone's buying at different prices. You're DCAing. I mean, you probably could have been a person that bought Solana just right at $200 whenever it passed over $200, and now it's down to $165. But if you believe and you think that Solana is going to be multi-cycle and it goes to $900, then who cares if you bought it at $165 or $200? So it's all a risk. You're still taking a risk. You have to figure out what your risk appetite is and how much you're willing to risk, how much you're willing to put into this market to then get the reward. But that doesn't mean that the reward is 100% guaranteed. So you just have to have that in your mind. Know there's a strategy and a plan. What's your take profit strategy? What's your accumulation? Do you feel like you have enough? Probably not. But that's the whole thing, is that you are just trying to at least have some type of calculated plan, what you're going to be investing in. Keep it simple. Narrow it down to 10 coins. Don't have 25 different things that you're trying to follow. You're probably going to fail doing this. Most of the people that have way too many things going on and trying to focus, they're not locked into what, there's no way you can focus. It's impossible. There's no way that anyone that has like 100 coins is going to be able to follow every single thing that's happening with the market. But I got people in the chat. Sorry, I'm running my mouth and I'm not paying attention to the chat. We got Lasers in the house. We got Julie Kennis in the house sending a super chat. You don't have to send a super chat. Thank you. You're so sweet. But thank you so much. We got Julie Kennis in the house. Make sure you guys are following Julie Kennis. We had her on the live stream. Was that last week? I think that was last week. Losing track of days here, and we also were on her channel as well recently, and that was a lot of fun. So I think we've agreed that we're just going to continue to collaborate with each other. We didn't scare each other off, so I think we're we're gonna collaborate. And yeah, we're really we just love this community in crypto, because you really do meet some cool people, and we're all just, for the most part, just trying to help each other out and build each other's channels up and keep the momentum going. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. But yeah, you guys go sub to her channel. She's already passed 1,000. Let's see. Let's go to her channel real quick. Let's pull it up and see where she's at now, because she's probably pushing. Okay, yeah, she's got 1,080 subscribers. So if you get her to 1,100, she's just like about 15, 20 away. So that is going to be a nice little milestone. Get her up to 2,000 real quick. Get her pumping to 2,000. But yeah, check out her live stream. She does a live stream as well. And yeah, follow her stuff. All right, so let's make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Just want to remind you guys that if you're in here, the only thing that I ask is that you interact with each other in the chat amongst yourselves, ask me a question, but then also hit that like button, because we got 10 people in here. If we get 10 likes really quick, YouTube will say, oh, this is a nice stream. We'll push it out to people. We'll push it out there. We'll push it out, George. And Ozzy Osbourne. Remember, this is actual. You know, rest in peace, Ozzy. We got Ozzy Osbourne in the chat. If you don't hold ticker Bitcoin, I will come back from the dead. You better watch out. Ozzy has spoken. Ozzy has spoken. But okay, let's keep on track here. Let's keep on track. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I don't want to have to keep saying it. It is the easiest thing. It is literally free to hit the like button. Even if you're watching on your TV, you can still hit the like button. You hit up, right, select. And remember, I don't know if you guys remember, that's the Dano crypto 1-2 up, right, select, uppercut through the ceiling, Mortal Kombat style, into the next level, into the next realm, into the next cryptoverse. Make sure you guys are doing that, because that is how we can really, really push this channel to the max, Okay. So real quick, follow me at Dano Crypto 904 on TikTok, trying to get that going. Also, if you want to check out just kind of all the links that I want you to check out, you can go to the link tree. We got a nice little matrix breakout link tree where we got our crypto.com sign up, we got OURBIT, then PHEMEX, the YouTube, we got our X, the main website. And if you want to check out my music, if you didn't know that I have some albums of some electronic, ambient, kind of space rocky kind of stuff, you might actually like it. It's called Constant Swimmer. Check it out. And I'll be actually releasing some new music pretty soon. Have a whole album basically ready to go. I just got to mix it, kind of figure out which tracks I want to have together, and yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So make sure you keep an eye out on that. You guys will be the first to know whenever it releases too, and we'll be doing some cool giveaways for that as well. But this is also cool. Yeah, Tom Lee is calls for Tom Lee's market call for August. So a lot of people have said like, oh, August and September, oh, they're terrible months. It's going to be bad. It's not going to be good months. But yeah, let's see what Tom Lee thinks. We're gonna play this clip from Squawk Box. Hopefully it plays okay. Talk markets and more, Tom let me know. Let me know if the sound is good and you guys can hear it okay. Looks like it should be good. So.
Of research at Fundstrat, Chief Investment Officer of Fundstrat Capital. He's also the chairman of BitMine as well as a CNBC contributor. We've got some new stuff to factor into your either bearish or bullish case. I assume it's still somewhat bullish, but okay, the economy looks like it may actually be slowing a little bit. Last week, the markets definitely retrenched. You've been solidly bullish since Liberation Day. But last week was a setback, and August is not always a great month. You think we get a little bit of choppiness here? Are you still bullish?
Well, last week was definitely consolidation because we had 5 days where the market opened higher and closed lower.
Really?
And they call that bearish engulfing. It makes sense because we're consolidating that 28% gain from the April lows. And on the job stuff, I think it's just the data's catching up to what we already know. The labor market's been soft, right? So it's, I think, a positive setup because now the Fed has more ammunition to make a dovish pivot in the fall, and it's not too late because we know the thing that they're going to stimulate is the housing market. And you had a couple guests earlier talking about that. And so that is what strengthens the economy.
So what's interesting is I've been following the housing market pretty tight, and I've been, me and my wife, especially my wife, she likes watching the real estate guys that are walking around. There's specifically a guy that I like the best. I think he does the Reventure. He has this Reventure app, but what he does is he goes around in all sectors in the United States and different, goes into, Georgia, Florida, Texas, all these, the hot spots of wherever a lot of people were mass migrating from, from the West or coming from, either California or New York or any of these places where people were just like, I gotta get out. And then they ran into places like Florida being the one where it had the highest influx of people coming from either California or New York. And so what happened is that it caused this market to be it got overvalued. There was a lot of demand for houses, but then there weren't that many houses for sale on the market. So then what it did is it made this whole crazy thing happen where the houses just ended up becoming overvalued. People paid way too much, and the interest rates were really high. So a lot of people got these mortgages with a really high interest rate, and they're either trying to refinance now in hopes of getting a better rate, or they're trying to just sell the house. So then now all of these people that came in, not all of them, but a big portion of these people that came in from, say, California or New York, are now trying to sell the house that they bought, and they're regretting the purchase. And so now it's flooding the market with supply of houses that are overvalued, that are not selling. They're sitting for months and months and months. And so what this is doing is driving the prices down to what the true market value is of these particular houses, which is about $100,000 less than what people have them listed right now. So what is that going to do? It's going to readjust the market. Then we have the Fed potentially becoming dovish and cutting the rates. The rates don't automatically change overnight whenever the Fed cuts the rates. It trickles down, and then the housing market mortgage rates go down. So we're not going to see the actual mortgage rates go down probably until December or January of next year. So what's going to happen is that the rest of this year, we're actually going to see the housing market continue to go down, whilst other risk assets are going to be going up. So the housing market's going down. You're going to get cheaper housing. The rates will line up, and then at the same time, we're going to be seeing that people that were real estate investors are now going to be going more in the markets because they're going to get better returns in the market than they are in their real estate investments. So then that's going to actually be this pivot of real estate actually going into the stock market or crypto. At least that's my theory. So this is actually why I think should be good idea to be bullish the rest of this year, because I think that's what's going to be the big push of all the different risk that people are taking in things like real estate or anything else that's just as risky that has a lot of counterparty risk in it, are going to go into less riskier assets, which have actually been the stock market and crypto has less risk than real estate, which used to be years ago was like, oh yeah, get an investment property, do the Airbnb thing. Now that is not the case. People are losing money like crazy on Airbnbs, on real estate properties. They're realizing that they cannot keep up with the cap rate of what they're actually able to bring in as their capital percentage rate of what they're bringing in on how much they're actually paying for expenses. And so you start to break the numbers down and you're like, wait a second. I was paying all this money to be a real estate investor and also thought I was going to be able to get equity out of my house, but all I had to do was just buy Bitcoin and the S&P and gold for the past 4 years and dump my money in that and then rent, and you'd be literally almost halfway, probably close to getting to retirement by doing that. Literally by doing that. You would be halfway to retiring yourself and being able to live off of passive income. But instead, you got tricked into thinking, oh yeah, I got to buy a house. Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. You're just giving yourself a way too much risk. When there was something all along that still is risky, but has way less counterparty risk than, say, what the housing market is. So it's really interesting how this is all connected. You start to learn about this stuff and how everything starts to pivot and how risk is managed. Was I just talking with my mic muted? Son of a bitch. It's fine. Everything that I was saying was so golden, but it doesn't matter. It's okay.
In 2026. So I think it's quite a positive setup. We're just consolidating, and then we make a bigger move higher.
Is it fair to say that since it's a dual mandate, that maybe the Fed should have been able to think that there was more risk to a slowdown than to inflation? Do you think they missed that a little bit and they're fighting? I don't know, but Trump said you got to cut, so they couldn't. Maybe they had to err that way just for political reasons.
Yeah, I think the Fed needs to demonstrate independence, but you're right. I think when they look at their dual mandate, they're probably drifting further from the employment metric now, because the unemployment rate, if you use the existing participation rate before this report, it's almost 5% now. So the Fed now has to be...
You heard me? Oh, it looked like my mic was muted. I thought I was yapping my mouth when it was muted. Okay, I guess I'm good.
Considering the risk of jobs market actually going into a cycle of weakening.
Right. But you have also been, I guess dovish is the word, on inflation. You have not thought that there is going to be necessarily a big impact from the tariff regime.
That's right. And I think the biggest takeaway is, first of all, if you look at the latest inflation report, the goods component that are tariff-driven, it's been only mild. But also, if you use the same inflation measure Europe uses, which is inflation ex housing, we're actually under 2%. The Fed, if they were the ECB, would be cutting right now.
That's interesting. So by the end of the year, or what target are you using now, and what time frame?
I think we're going to rally pretty strongly in August. So I think we can get back to 65, or get to 6,600 all-time highs in the next couple weeks.
And then
Let's
7,000
go.
in the next 12 months, above that?
Yeah, probably well above that.
Well above that.
Yeah.
BitMine, we mentioned that at the top, is going to be, in your view, the micro strategy or strategy of Ethereum or Ether.
Yes, that's right. Just a month ago, I was on the show to announce I was becoming chairman. And at the time, the stock was $4.50, and we announced a $250 million investment led by Founders Fund and Mosaics and others. But today, we announced that we reached almost $3 billion worth of ETH. And
Dang.
The largest ETH holder, then.
Yeah, the largest ETH treasury in the world, and the third largest crypto treasury in the world. And we also announced that Bill Miller III made a major investment last week into BitMine, so that he joins Kathy Woods in investing in our company in the past couple weeks.
That's the Bill Miller from Legg Mason we all know.
Yes,
right.
that's right. The Bill Miller that we all know.
Yep.
Yes.
He was super early.
Yeah.
On crypto, too.
No, that's what I was saying. Super. He was like, right? What was he getting Bitcoin at? 2012, 13?
Yeah, he has some of the lowest cost Bitcoin out there.
What's your symbol? What is BitMine?
It's ticker BMNR.
The ticker's Bitcoin, my friend. But just so you know, what are you talking about? The tickers? What's the ticker? The ticker's Bitcoin.
And the stock now is around 32. So in the past,
let's check that stock.
And the stock now is around 30.
What is BitMine?
It's ticker BMNR.
BMNR. BMNR. BMNR. Let's look at that ticker. BMNR. BMNR. Yeah, BitMine Immersion Technologies. See, this is what we gotta, I'm telling you guys, this is what I don't think we I think we're what the? I don't know what's going on there. What in the Lord? Yeah, it's BMNR. BMNR. Now, apparently, in 2021, their stock was at 700. Hold the phone. But see, are you able to buy this stock? Are you able to actually buy this stock? Can you buy this right now? Like if I wanted to go on Robinhood right now and buy some BMNR, can you do it? Yeah, we need to check on that, because that's I mean, look at the growth over the past since June. What the heck? Yeah, we gotta do a little more research on that one. That one's so there's a lot of reasons to be bullish, I think is what we're trying to show you here. Definitely a lot of reasons to be bullish. We got all these different companies setting up these treasuries. They're loading into Ethereum. I think the institutions are so ready to get that sweet ETH yield. They understand Bitcoin now. Like they get Bitcoin now. They're trying to get Ethereum, and most people don't understand that the institutions are still going to move like slow. So they're not going to jump immediately to like, yeah, let's start being bullish XRP. It's not going to be really like that. I think it's just going to be pretty simple. It's going to be okay. They know Bitcoin now. Now they're going to know ETH. And then once they know ETH, then it just starts to go down the line. Laser says you can get it on Schwab. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you have an investment account with like Schwab or Fidelity or maybe so you'd have to possibly different types of brokerages and investment accounts that you could probably. But yeah, this would be something like, because companies like this, like they are in it for the long run. They are macro guys. Like they're loading up on this stuff because they see like people like this, when they look like this, they're like 10K ETH is bearish. They're like, I'm ready for the 15, 20K ETH, in 2028, 2029. We're talking 2030. That's where these people are like looking down the road. Like we as the crypto degens make the mistake of only looking like a few months down the line. Like for instance, I even said it, oh, we only have 60 days left. That's some BS. That's just clickbait crap. Oh, we only have this much left for blah, blah, blah. And it's like, let's just be honest. Like if you would have told all the people that held their Bitcoin for years and years, that was it, $1,000, sell it all. It's not gonna, Bitcoin's never gonna blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Still here. Institutions and governments are now buying it. It's now not speculation anymore, just like someone said in the comments. Laser says BTC is no longer just speculation and a experiment. It is a working actual thing now. Yeah, true. But if there's a way for us to get exposure into stocks like this, then man, that might be the play, is to figure out how to allocate into the right stocks that are having massive crypto exposure. And can this really do a number on the actual stock and the valuation of the company? Well, MicroStrategy has basically shown us that can be done. When MicroStrategy did the Bitcoin strategy and implemented their accumulation for their own treasury, the company went from an under $1 billion company to a $40 billion company and beyond. And now it's like, I don't even know what it is now, changing now being strategy, but they were the example that you can accumulate Bitcoin and continue to literally all through the chart, on the lows, on the highs, on all of the just everywhere on the chart, and be able to do some interesting blockchain finance. So it's pretty cool. So it's just we're definitely getting the signal from the institutions that we should be bullish. We should be bullish. There's no reason to be afraid and to be super bearish whilst things like this are happening. So that's where my head's at. That's where my head's at, guys. All right, so let's see what the breaking news is. We had the U.S. market rebound. U.S. stocks climbed today, recovering from Friday's steep losses. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 433 points at a 1%. The S&P gained 1.2%. So we're getting some bounce back from that volatility from all the things that we mentioned in our early walk video. We had Trump move nuclear submarines towards Russian waters as a defensive play against comments that were made by the Russian military. And then we also had, the SEC talking about Project Crypto, which is basically Paul Atkins, which is the new SEC chairman, signaling that we want America to be the leader in the digital financial revolution. And then also had, the Fed with their rates not being changed, and just a lot of volatility that obviously had the markets consolidating off some of the run up and the rallies that we've had recently. And so now we're figuring out, like, where's the bottom? Like, was that the bottom? Was that just a leveraged flush shakeout? And I would say yes, that was more so a leveraged flush shakeout. And I think August is probably going to be more bullish than bearish. And maybe if we looked at how other August months had been in previous years for Bitcoin, we can kind of see and speculate on how it could be. Right now, we're currently sitting at $114,000 per Bitcoin, seeing still a little bit of volatility today. Let's see where we can. Let's see where we can bounce. So we went as low as 111,000. We went past that gap. We filled the gap at 114, and we then continued to slide down. Some of those levels I think we did mark, and we wanted to give you guys that. It's funny. We said, look, here's the bearish case scenario. We gave it to you Friday. We said, look, there is a possibility that we could bounce from the gap, but then we could also get cooked and continue to go down into this level. We almost went exactly into the level that we were talking about. This is the exact level. Was 111,800. The price wicked down and bounced right off of that. So that shows some wicked strength of us getting back into where we're going to probably liquidate the crap out of some short traders in the bears back up at $119,000 Bitcoin. So if anything, I think we would be seeing a potential on the 5 minute here, a whatever you would consider an inverse head and shoulders coming up back to test that neckline right there at 118, 119, which would line up with the liquidation levels for the 50x, 100x leverage shorts. And this is the same with some of the cumulative long leverage. If we scoop back down to the 113 area, a lot of leverage would get smacked. And then if we go past 116 here today, we will get 50x shorts and 100x shorts getting smashed around in this particular level right here. So I would bet that because they already smashed the longs here, they're probably going to smash the shorts. So just get ready for a quick possible liquidity flush up into these levels, and we could go sideways potentially for a little bit to then go to the next obvious level, which is lined up with the Fibonacci extension at $120,000 per Bitcoin. Actually, the exact level being $128,000 per Bitcoin. That is where I think the next staircase is. That's the next level. We told you guys we do a 13%. We consolidate. Market does the liquidation flush, and then we go up to the next point of the bull market, and that is where we are going to be headed, my friends. At least in my book, I think that's a pretty good speculation of where we could be headed here in the immediate short term. If you're a bear, you're wanting 109. You're wanting this liquidity. I get it. I see it too. We filled the gap though, and now hopefully we're bouncing. And if my theory is correct, then this was the consolidation, and then we'll get the next 13% leg up, which leads us to 128,000, and we'll be, good to go. I don't want to take the bearish case scenario off the table. I will show you. We can see the liquidity sitting here at 110. So that's kind of a sneaky little level there that we could potentially see. So we just have to let's see how this plays out. See how the rest of the week plays out. Right. So that's Bitcoin. How's the altcoins looking? All right. Well, we talked about the crypto gaming bull run being a complete separate bull run. Oh yeah, and we didn't actually. Oh yeah, totally forgot. When we were live streaming, I said, guys, this looks like a Bart Simpson. Dude, that thing barted. It was such a Bart Simpson pattern. We saw the jaggedness, the run up, the jaggedy, jag, and then it was like zoom, McDonald's application sent, and that was the play. So that if you were able, and I said, look, if you guys want to take advantage of this, you want to try and be a sniper, you'd set limit orders at that point in that area of the gap, and then even further below to be able to catch any of those bounces. And Marty Party actually says this a lot. He's like, look, this is how you can combat the manipulation liquidation flushes, because 50x, 100x leverage is going to be in the market, and the markets are going to liquidate them. They will be liquidated. Their liquidation level is where where the market makers can push it. And more so than not, the market will bring price to that point. So then you can get even just anywhere close to it and bounce off of that. You're getting a 2 to 10% average bounce from that support and from that liquidation level. So what we can do is, as much as we can try to remember that these liquidation levels are most likely going to get hit, depending on where we're sitting currently in the range. So you go to the liquidation heat map, go to the 12-hour, pull this slider so you can get a little bit of that data, more of the data here, and then you can see that we have ranges of liquidations up above 116 and 117. You go back to the liquidation map here, and you can see that, okay, 50x, 100x leverage right there, a lot of it in the shorts going in that direction. Then you can go to Bitcoin, kind of look and see where, okay, we're starting to kind of cook up a little bit more. If liquidations happen here, then it could potentially give us a nice little short squeeze into that next level. So yeah, Hyro saying his price target is 130. I'm saying 128. It's pretty, around similar area. But now when it comes to something that we should be paying attention to now is crypto gaming tokens. Figure out who's doing what, building, who's been posting, who's been making stuff. This is what you need to pay attention to. I'm telling you, the gamers, when gamers start to get into this area, like all the old school gamers of playing RuneScape and World of Warcraft and StarCraft and RTS games and MMOs, and if you're like those people, once they crack into this ecosystem and they learn about things like medieval empires and the Me token, or they learn about Star Atlas and all those different tokens and games that you can play right now, like Star Atlas. I don't know if you guys have seen the footage. Like, it looks fun. I'm like, it actually looks fun. I want to test it out. But there's like ships and all this different stuff that you can do with like NFTs, and there's all these gaming dashboards that you can test out. One of them being Naka. Like that one is my favorite. Like low cap gem is the Naka ecosystem because they got all their own games. They build their own games. They have a cool little unique ecosystem that you can get into. But those are just 2 tokens. This is just the ones that I'm focusing on is the Me token and like Naka, Vulcan Forged, some of the Star Atlas stuff, and that's just how I'm like. That's just like 3-4 tokens right there. But you could go down the list and be like, all right, let me look at the metaverse tokens. Let me look at Decentraland. Let me look and see how the sandbox is doing. Is there any other new metaverse tokens that could be worth looking at? What ecosystems are supporting the crypto gaming? So like you got Ronin Chain, you have the Ronin wallet, you got Polygon is very bullish gaming. Sui, you got the Sui Play Store with their own Steam-like thing. This is just me going off the top of my head. Imagine if you took a whole week and just picked a few things to start going down and building up your crypto bull run bag. That crypto gaming coins might outperform everything. You never know. This is where we could be getting our 10, 15, 20x's is from these gaming ecosystems. It's crazy. And especially if you're playing and you're earning and you are like being like a mega bull in something like, for instance, Medieval Empires, you're buying NFT land, you're renting out land, you could have a whole Medieval Empires operation running. So, and these games aren't even in mainstream's head yet. That's where I think we could be focusing. And now I want to pivot, and I just wanted to explain it. You don't have to go like too deep into each one. Like, for instance, like the Me token, I've showed you this thing. Just every time it starts to create bull flags, it just breaks out, and every time it does it, it's crazy. So we see the momentum. We see that every time we've gone descending wedge, boom, we've broken out. Every time we've hit the bottom, we freaking just start going crazy. This is just what's happening. I know it's just a bullish chart. So I see stuff happening like this, and Me token is up 18% today. While, the market is good. The market's cooking up. Things are up. Like Polygon is up 2.something%. Doge is up 2.6%. We got XRP up 3%, past $3 now again. Some of the AI stuff is getting some traction, but look at what is performing the best right now, where people are not focusing, like the crypto gaming tokens. So don't lose sight off of the crypto gaming stuff. People are, crypto gaming dead. It's not going to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know, guys. Keep your eye on it, because before you know it, these things are going to be flying, and that was your 5-10x. Something as simple as like getting the Me token. Or you can say, okay, AVAX, if you remember, is a coin that is heavily involved in crypto gaming ecosystem with that game, the Off the Grid. Very popular. And then it's at $22. $22. You know how much it costs to just go get a freaking fast food lunch for your family? It's like $35 for one meal. And you're telling me you can accumulate AVAX at $22? Get a couple of freaking AVAX at the potential of it going to $145? I don't know. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that we could be focusing on, but you got to narrow it down. So for me, I've narrowed it down. I'm pretty set on the mid to the mid caps that I want to accumulate. Like I like AVAX, I like Optimism and Arbitrum and like some of those layer 2s, and I'm going to be accumulating Ethereum. You guys know I'm bullish on XYO. That's kind of my DPIN, location data coin. I know there's a bunch of them, but I keep it pretty simple. I like XYO. You got Crow ecosystem, and I like Polygon. I love Sol. So I've narrowed it down to about 15 coins, 10, 15 coins. And my memes, I like Pepe and Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 Inu. It's very simple. My list is very small. It's not that big. But I got gaming tokens. I have layer 1s and layer 2s. I have big, blue chips. You got your low caps, your mid caps, some DeFi, all in the different ecosystems. And you can have it pretty simple like that. And that's how you want to be going into these cryptocurrency ecosystems, And get excited. When I talk about this stuff, I get excited. I'm like, man, this is just such a great opportunity for us to learn and it's not going to be all like rainbows. Like, you're going to buy some stuff, you're going to get cooked, you're going to possibly lose some money. You might, some things might not work out, but then that's okay. That's good. That is a good thing, because then it's just strengthening your next cycle. Like, whatever the next cycle, because why are you going to leave? Stay here. This is where all the money's going. Why are you going to be, oh, it's my last cycle, guys, see you later? It's like, no, like, continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to be in these markets, because I think this is the place to be. This is the place to be. This is the place to be. And where you need to be learning, because before you know it, your Bank of America app, your Chase app, the whatever app you use on a normal basis, guess what? It's going to have blockchain incorporated and Web3 and signage and all that smart contract crap. It's going to be happening all in the background, and most of the retail is probably going to realize it, or they're just going to have to use it because that's just where it's going. It's just like everything else. You had to pivot and learn how to use different things. I mean, when was the last time you used a house phone? When was the last time you sent a fax? When was the last time you mailed a letter? So think about those things. Think about all the things that you used to do, and now that you don't anymore, and you do something completely different. It's the same with crypto. It's going to be the same. Now, paying attention to something where no one's paying attention and everyone is looking over here, we need to be looking over here. So I'll bring your attention to Pulse Chain and this ecosystem, just so you know that it exists, and it doesn't mean that you have to put your money into it, but I think that there could be something interesting with Pulse Chain happening with Richard Hart in the way that he's going to be mass marketing something physical for people to check out to get their eyes on Pulse Chain. Now, other ecosystems have been used as exit liquidity, specifically the memes and Solana memes, Pump Fund, that whole Bonk. Now Bonk is under the microscope because there's a bunch of bundled insider wallets that have been pumping certain things to make the Bonk ecosystem look like it was, overtaking, the Launchpad sector, but really it's just a bunch of insider bullshit. So at the end of the day, everyone's extracting everyone on all this stuff. When is it going to end, and where is it going to go? All the soy Lana boys and girls are going to end up probably buying Pulse Chain. So Pulse Chain might end up getting the last laugh and be not the exit liquidity, but actually where the money flows, because it's the last frontier. It's where no one was paying attention, and then all of a sudden now the attention's there because something like PDI goes up 1,200, 2,000%. You get something like possibly the incentive token pumping. I mean, whatever, Hex pumping, PLS pumping because of the nature of the burning mechanisms and the deflationary aspect of the DeFi with these tokens being paired in PLS. It's very interesting. So I suggest if you want to find something or go into research something and test something out that no one is like promoting for you to do. It's only me, people like ticker Bitcoin holders and delusional people that are like, hey, why don't you just, maybe try this out? And we don't get paid to freaking say it. But then all the people on the crypto timeline, the grifters, are telling you to buy Uranus. Or telling you to buy freaking Chill House or Chill Guy or Chill Fart or Fart Chill or Chill House Fart. Whatever the hell it is. And it's just like, how is it not that obvious for you that that is extraction? Oh my God. It's right in front of your face. And why I'm so passionate and why I get so heated about talking about this is because I was one of those people that get distracted. distracted by all the bullshit, all the scams, all the extractions, all the stuff that everyone wants you to pay attention to and make you think that it's the next big thing. I will not fall for that crap anymore. I will not. Because at the end of the day, the things that I now focus on is what I've always known about and have focused on. XYO, I've known since 2021. AVAX and Polygon and Litecoin and all this stuff. I've known about this stuff. I've been bullish on this stuff. The only thing that's taken me off my game is these freaking scammers and these people getting allocation and trying to convince you that that's what you need to pay attention to because I said so. I've had not one freaking person on the timeline be trying to convince me that XYO is bullish. I came to my own damn conclusion. Same with ticker Bitcoin. So this is how you have to look at the markets. You have to know that there is going to be a bunch of extractions and grifters and people that have no freaking idea what they're talking about. They literally don't have no idea what they're talking about. Especially these same people, you'll tell them about Pulse Chain and they'll just go, oh, Richard Hart's a scammer. Oh, Pulse Chain? Oh, yeah. I'm like, did you even bridge? Did you even try to bridge? Have you staked anything? Did you use any of the swaps? Did you even look at it? No, you did not. All you did was talk a bunch of shit on the timeline and tell people to go buy Chill House. Or get into my Telegram, bro. So just know who you're dealing with. And I'll even tell you, guys, look. Here's the thing. See, people will just talk a bunch of crap and they don't even show you. Look, I don't even have that much money in here. I've put maybe a couple $100 in here. I think I did it at the freaking top. So at a point, I think this was worth like 350 or something. I did it literally right at the top. Like I bridged and was buying all this stuff at the peak where it was like, the peak. It was like the peak. But I just tested it out. Look, I got some PDI. Look, it's culture. This is the culture. PDI, incentive, PLSX, Hex, PLS, and then one of the Trump tokens. And then also, I've mentioned before that the two most popular meme coins on the Pulse Chain ecosystem is the Grace currency, TGC, and Teddy Bear. This is kind of standard that I've been figuring out. Those are the two most popular if you're in the memes and you want to see what's happening. But then you can go as far as there's pump.tires. There's literally a launch pad all doing the same thing, similar stuff. And this is actually has more of a legitimate burning bonding mechanism than all the other launch pads do. It's pretty straightforward. Goes right into the PLSX burning liquidity pool, sets up the pool, and then you can start trading. And it's and people just talk all this crap and they don't even use it. But you got all the extractors, the pump funds, and all that nonsense happening. And you're giving all your trust in those things and not even testing out this stuff. What streamer has pulled up pump.tires in this website? Please show me right now. Show me right now. Who is talking about this? Not trying to pat myself on the back, but it's just like, who's talking about this? I've broken down multiple different narratives and thesis on Bitcoin being bullish, ETH, Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency markets as a whole. Who the hell is pulling this up? No one's doing that. Show them to me. Show me, please. Where's Thread Guy talking about Pulse Chain? Where's Thread Guy? My friends, we will have the last laugh. We will have the last laugh. We've learned so much over the years, and a lot of it being from mistakes. We've learned a lot over the years, and a lot of it being from our mistakes. And so I think we're going to make it. I think we might make it, but we're going to make it together. Because I don't want you guys to be extracted. I want you to make it. I want you to make it as well. And if anything, of me ranting and doing this and pulling up the charts and talking about all this stuff gets us closer to making it and not getting extracted from these freaking fools and jabronis on the timeline. We're going to be on to something. We're going to be on to something. We're going to be on to something. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in on X. We got 148 people. Hopefully those are real people. And how many people do we have on YouTube tuning in? We didn't get to 10 likes. Guys, your thumbs are not working. I don't know what's going on, but like, do you have thumbs? I know when you're holding the phone, hit the button. You can do it with the thumb. I know it's possible. But I think we might have had a little too much coffee. Either we had too much coffee or just the right amount. You guys can be the judge of that. Did I have too much coffee or just the right amount? Did you give him another bath? Oh my gosh. My daughter has given my cat like 17 baths. I'm like, the cats bathe themselves. She's like, no, he needs to be bathed. My poor Simba. But all right, guys, I don't know what else to talk about. I think we covered most of what we wanted to talk about. We had a couple posts. Oh yeah, it was this. Yeah, President Trump said Elizabeth Warren is a loser. She lies about everything, including the fact that she's an Indian. She's not. Yeah, her name was Pocahontas for the longest time, Miss Pocahontas. And remember, Elizabeth Warren. Her salary is like $100,000 a year, and she was able to amass a net worth of millions and millions of dollars over the past 6 years or so. These people are they're master investors. They must know the secret. What's the secret? What is the secret to this mass amount of wealth that is accumulated with these people? All right, so this is some other bullish news. We've talked about how the Solana ecosystem is bullish. The Solana ecosystem, in terms of the DEXs, are bullish. Now, if you remember, if you're like old school, and you came into Solana on chain in like 2022, then you remember Orca. You'll maybe even remember that Bonk was launched on Orca first. The original liquidity pool of Bonk was on Orca. And so you have Orca, you have Radium, and then you had, the different I can't remember, Meteora and the things that like routers, the routers where it's like you had to, so, but Orca was the original. And if you remember, a lot of the tokens were being traded on Orca before they were on Radium. I've kept Orca in my back pocket. I'm like, I want to be bullish Orca and not forget about this token because we think that these particular tokens can do what BNB tokens did in the DeFi summer. BNB itself went up 800%. And then all the tokens and the dexes that were connected in the BNB ecosystem, like PancakeSwap and God, what else? Like that's what comes up in the head. PancakeSwap being a big one, and the Cake token, and then all the different pools and different farms and things like that was huge. This is what I want to focus on with things with Solana. Also accumulate in Solana, but then not to forget about the DEX tokens. And so Orca is one of them. Another one being Jupiter. I think Jupiter is doing great. Amazing app. I don't know if you guys have downloaded the actual Jupiter wallet app. It's really good. I think they did a really good job. So make sure you check that out. But the Orca ecosystem has done something really, really good, which is combating the whole issue of Solana, of what people are griping about in the trenches is the bots. The sniping wallets and all the things that have been hurting the ecosystem in terms of someone wanting to launch a project successfully without it getting ruined. So bots ruin the launches and Wavebreak ruins the bots. Introducing the first fair launch architecture built for humans, creators, traders, believers. Here's the new launch standard for Solana. And this is really cool. So Orca is basically providing the infrastructure to be able to combat that thing that's been happening on Solana. And so we're kind of all wondering, like, when was that going to stop? Is it going to get worse to the point where no one wants to use Solana anymore in terms of like doing this? But now we got things like Orca saying no more racing against algorithms, no more bots front running. Yeah, so we couldn't think of the front running, your project. Every position is earned, own the wins, and then own the losses. So this is interesting. So the problem is that we have the sniping bots. They're always winning because they're sniping. They're just being able to go boom. Fragmented liquidity after the launch. So then there's like all this different fragmented liquidity, different spots. So I guess if you're thinking about liquidity, you want it to be pretty set and solid, locked. Make sure that it's not being drained or can be drained, or it's all in different spots. Complicated launch processes. Anyone can launch. Yeah. So token creators sniping. So then the creators themselves are also sniping, and then the lack of incentives to trade early. Those are the problem. Here's the solution. So Orca's proprietary anti-bot system gives everyone equal access to trade the token in the bonding phase, nullifying the advantage of sniping. At graduation, 200 million tokens and 84 SOL raised during bonding are auto-seeded into a whirlpool, which is their version of the liquidity pool, making the token instantly tradable on Orca and the aggregators, which is pushing the token into, say, if you go on your Sol or go on your Phantom wallet, then you'll be able to use that particular aggregator or Jupiter, for instance, or that. Complicated launch processes, so then anyone can launch a token in a few easy steps, permissionless. The initial locked liquidity position belongs to the token creator and earns LP fees, providing an incentive to stay aligned with the holders, not to just be like bah, bah, in and out. Users earn points for trading any token while it's still bonding. The more points earned, the larger the share of the rewards. I think this is going to make the Orca token pump like insane. That's all I got to say. I think the Orca token could freaking fly by implementing something as cool as this. Now, where is... There it is. And look at how bullish this chart is too. Like, I see the momentum here, and I see that once we start getting that bullishness in Solana, like we are going to see I explained a lot of that in the beginning of the live stream. Also in the video of this morning where I broke down, like, look, there's a Solana ETF flow now chart. And so how does Solana get to $900,000? Well, there's Solana treasuries being set up, and there's an ETF. There's also a CME. All of this has happened for Solana before it happened for XRP. So I'm not trying to dog on XRP. I'm just saying, like, the nature of the XRP army is loud. Where's the XRP ETF right here as a flow? It's not there. It's Solana. So why am I going to deny the fact that a Solana is being picked as the second best institutional pick next to Ethereum? Am I just going to ignore this? No, I'm not going to. So I'm going to look at the ecosystem like we're doing, and we're going to figure out where the money is going to flow. This is just one aspect. I think things can get pretty freaking crazy. So I'm prepared for it. But yeah, this is where my head's at. This is where I'm looking. Real quick, I'll show you guys the trades. The trades are they're looking all right. They're, you know, I kind of FOMO'd a little bit. But I was pretty confident that this week and this month is actually going to be a bullish bounce month. I think that was just a stupid, like, liquidity grab, very obvious liquidity grab, fake out leverage flush for the markets going down that low, 111, for us to be back up to here again. I just see the momentum. I see more momentum than bearishness. I'm more on the bull side, and maybe I have a mental illness, but I think we're definitely more on the bullish side. So we wanted to go long. We wanted to go long on the coins that we always like to go long on, like Pepe, Doge, Bitcoin. And so Doge being the one that I saw under that 20-cent level, I was at 19 cents. I said, oh, baby, Dogecoin is eyeing that 23 cents again. It hits that 23 cents. That was its previous resistance. And we could be going back into a really sweet range for Dogecoin, hitting back up into the descending wedge, which is the descending wedge test of 49 cents. Now, this is on the daily chart. You can see the descending wedge here, hit that channel, and then we bounced up, but we hit that resistance at 25 cents. 2 different times, too. So 1, 2, third time's a charm. We are going to basically do one of these things where we test back up, and then the next resistance is going to be that 43-cent resistance per kind of what the trend is happening here on this breakout. So if you're looking for some entries here, we do have some momentum, and look at the descending wedge. And look at where the descending wedge had that previous resistance. Was at 42 cents. And also right here. We've hit resistance 2 different times. We're going to test it again. And I think the obvious next test would be to break it and then go up into this resistance right here, which is basically this line. Pretty simple. Just, figure out where you can get a nice entry. I think anywhere in this range right now, under 22 cents is pretty solid. You're in a good range to get the momentum going back up here, and that's where I'm at with Doge. Pepe, it's kind of in this channel. It's trading in this channel. We also had on the daily a descending nature here. Descending channel breakout. We tested the resistance. Look, 1, 2, similar thing. We're going to test back up. Once we break that resistance, then the obvious next level is going to be right here, up at the top of the descending wedge. And so very similar with Pepe. Now, we explained what the range is on Bitcoin. It all depends on the shorts getting liquidated at 116 up here in this range right here, get some shorts liquidated, and it'll actually give us a nice short squeeze into 128,000, which is our next price target for Bitcoin. And we're looking for that. So it's looking pretty good. Yeah, so that's the trade breakdown. Those are the trades. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, supporting the movement, being a part of the Dojo crew. And yep, make sure you like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next live stream. Peace out.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworkers you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you a really quick metric that I found fascinating. So 41% of the people that have been watching this channel and actually liking the channel and the content have not subscribed. 41% of you, but I will say 58% of you subscribed. Amazing. You guys are doing awesome. But I want to say that the people that are not subscribed yet, please, won't you consider subscribing to the channel and joining the Dojo crew, where we are educating ourselves. We're in the markets every single day. We're live streaming Monday through Friday, and we're also posting content on a daily basis that is keeping up with these cryptocurrency markets. And this is where the money is flowing right now, guys. So if you want to get these updates and you want to be ahead of the game, I suggest you start subscribing and dinging the bell to be notified whenever I go live and post content, because you do not want to miss it.